Please state your name, occupation, and the position you are seeking.
Joseph Michael Garza. I go by My Garza. I'm running for re-election of District 1 City Council. I currently work for United Independent School District as the Executive Director for Support Services.
Have you received any formal education?
Yes, I've received my Associate of Arts degree from Worden County Junior College. I received my Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Houston, and I've received my Master's degree from Texas A&M International University.
How long have you lived in the district?
I've lived there pretty much my entire life. Probably maybe the first 5 years of my life I lived in another district, but for the last 30-some years, 33 years, I've lived in the actual.
What do you think is the primary need of the district, and how do you plan to address it?
Well, one of the things that we have dealt with in the last 4 years that I was there was a lot of infrastructure issues that were very, very prevalent in South Laredo, in District 1 specifically. And that had to do with a lot of mobility issues, which again, Cuatro Vientos was a major coup for us to be able to get that taken care of for as far as 83 was concerned. But some of the other off-system highway roadways, Ejido and Merida extensions that we've done have helped to develop the mobility issue that we dealt with. Quality of life has been something that we've touted more than we can, because it's something that was severely lacking at that particular time. We have the largest rec center in all of Laredo, South Laredo. We have a humongous regional park that's coming to Laredo, to South Laredo. We have a lot of things going in the benefit of what we're trying to do there to make sure that we improve mobility, quality of life, and a lot of the infrastructure things that we needed. So all the things that I was able to commit to in 06, thank goodness, under circumstances or luck or fate or hard work, they all got completed. And I'm very excited about that. For the next 4 years, now that we have all that foundation worked on, I think that now we need to start looking at economic development for that area. There's a lot of times where people consider South Laredo a lower economic situation, but to be quite frank, there's a lot more middle class people that are starting to come to move there or start their families there because of the fact that it's affordable living, which is number one. And number two, there's more opportunities for creating some of these things that we're looking at. And I think that if we continue to, look at the 83 corridor and now creating a new commercial corridor with the Cuatro Vientos, I think there's opportunities there for commercial development that we need to pursue. And that's where I have to be a little bit more aggressive in focusing on those type of issues.
And what do you see as the most pressing issue for the city as a whole, and what would you do to address it?
I think that, we have worked very well. The council has worked very well. We do have some characters on council, but overall, I think that we have a vision for what Laredo's future should be, almost collectively. I think that we need to come up with a big idea, the one big idea that we all rally around to be able to create either industry or create something that can help us get over the hump. But I would say that I'm very, very proud of the fact that, number one, Laredo's economy has diversified. We're no longer dependent on the transportation industry wholeheartedly. I think that we've diversified in the healthcare industry. Certainly we have a lot of government jobs here that sustain the economy. But I think that we need to start looking at some other niche ideas to be able to bring industry to Laredo. The other thing is we need to develop our workforce to be able to create that opportunity so that industry can come here and we already have the developed workforce. And figure out ways to make sure that people want to stay in Laredo. We have a very young community, and a lot of people try to go out of town to go get educated and then refuse to come back. So it's what they call a brain drain, right? We need to bring those people back to be able to get their resources and to be able to create opportunities for us. And that's really what I'm working for. I have 2 small children, and I want to make sure that they have opportunities to come back. That wherever they want to go to get educated, whether it's locally or out of town, that they want and have a desire to come back and help their community. And I think that's where we need to focus on trying to do that.
What would you do to help control crime, particularly domestic violence, gang violence, and drug trafficking?
Well, the good news is that we've had one of the lowest murder rates in the recent history. So I think that as far as that type of violent crime, we're doing a very good job. Do we need more police officers on the street? Yes. That's why I'm super proud of the fact that we were able to lobby and receive 22 new federally funded positions, which will create the largest police academy in the history of Laredo. We're going to have over almost 40 police officers, brand new police officers, which is a big chunk. When you put it in perspective, especially what we need, we're still not there yet. But as far as the other activities, I think that there's not enough law enforcement in the world that will stop domestic violence or that will stop. All we can do is try to curtail it. But education and educating the public and understanding that you can't do these things, and educating even small children to grow up under that knowledge of this is not the right thing to do, is going to be the way we need to attack it long term. I think the economy has a lot to do with that, because when you're under economic stress, it creates a lot of these activities.
Your opponents may try to point out weaknesses in your campaign over the next month. What do you believe they'll say is your biggest weakness, and how will you respond?
That I have accomplished 100% of everything that I set out to do probably is my biggest weakness. That I haven't made particularly good decisions on certain issues, that would probably be a weakness. But I will tell you that everything that we've done has always been with a legitimate heart to what's best for Laredo. Specifically what's best for District 1, but certainly what's best for Laredo as a whole. I think that one of my biggest regrets, given all the pressures that we had, was the town center development that was across the airport. That was something that we should have pursued, because we would have had 1,000 people employed. And I think that, giving into the environmental issues of the day and the concerns and the pressure that was given to us, I think that we should have pursued it. And sometimes you have to do it in spite of all those pressures. You have to make sure that they happen. I wasn't alone on that decision, but certainly I could have been taken more of a leadership role in that. The things that I am proud of, that people should recognize, is that I am a leader on the council, and that a lot of the ideas that I've been able to bring forward have been supported, in most cases unanimously. And so I also like to be able to bring ideas together, and for no credit of my own. I'm not a big credit guy. I don't care about the credit. At the end of the day, it's the project or what needs to happen, and who cares who gets credit. But one of the things that I pride myself on is being able to compromise and make sure that other people compromise. We've had discussions at council where councilmen don't agree on certain things. Well, I offer an alternative and say, can we meet middle grounds? But sometimes when you deal in absolutes, like some councilmen do, then you can never get there. And I think that when we have open minds, which I think I'm proud of having, then you can accomplish a lot of things. And the success is in my what I've done. Probably in the last 4 years, in a 4-year window, to have $100 million of investments is probably unprecedented. And so if you look back in the history of Laredo council single-member districts, I don't know if there's anybody that's had so much investment in such a short period of time. And when you take the big picture to it, over $500 million of investment for the entire city of Laredo, 20% of that was invested in my district. So that I'm very, very proud of. Do I have weaknesses? Sure. Maybe I'm a little too aggressive. Maybe I pursue things to the infinite degree. But if you're not paying attention to detail, then you could create problems for yourself.
And final question, why should voters choose you over the other candidates?
Well, 4 years ago, I couldn't say experience, but 4 years later, I can definitely say experience. I think the voters of District 1 have seen everything that we've done. And that's what I'm most proud of, is that you can actually touch and feel and see the actual improvements that have been done. And I hear it every day. I get people coming to me and telling me, I'm glad you're there, I'm glad we've done this, we deserved it. And that's in spite of the fact that I still have to deal with the persona of this is South Laredo, we don't get enough, and I try to make sure that we try to instill pride in ourselves. I'm very meticulous about the grass being cut around that area. I'm very meticulous about trash being picked up. And I do it because I want people to start wanting that to happen. I want people to have it come from them to say, you know what, this needs to be a good, clean area. It needs to be a place where families want to raise their families there. It wants to be a place where we can take pride in where we live. And all of this investments, the millions and millions of dollars